Okay. All right. Day 5. So day 5 is really more of day 4, except that we are going to have higher degree polynomials. So, maybe like an x to the third, x to the fourth, x to the fifth, anything like that. So for the first one there, now the first one is nice because it's already factored for us. So I can automatically go to doing my number line. So I want to think what makes each of those factors 0. The first one, -8. Next one, -2. Next one is 3. I always want to put them in order the way they would go on a number line. So I don't necessarily, want to do them, in the order they are from left to right. As far as the factors go, I want to do them in the order like they would normally go on a number line, the actual numbers. So x plus 8, x plus 2. So now I want to get the factors down. Oh, I can also, I want to know where this is greater than 0, so not greater than or equal to. So these are going to be open circles, which means when I do interval notation, they're going to be soft brackets. So to the left of -8, I pick -9. If I put -9 into this first factor, I would get a negative. -9 into the second would be negative. -9 into the third would be negative. 3 negatives multiplied together give me a negative. So I put that negative above the number line. Okay, then in between -8, -2, and I'll just pick -3. -3 in the first factor would be positive. -3 in the second would be negative. -3 in the third would be negative. Negative times negative is a positive times a positive, which is going to be positive. In between -2 and 3, this is where anytime I can pick 0, I pick 0 because it's a nice, easy number to plug in. Positive, positive, negative, which is overall negative. And then finally, to the right of 3, if I put in 4, plus, 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 which is plus. Now, I want to know where this product here, when I multiply these three things, where it is greater than 0. So that would be the positives. Positives are greater than 0. So -8 to -2, soft brackets, u, and then 3 to infinity. 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 2x plus 5 less than 0. Oh, this is a good one to look at. This goes back to when you're factoring with 4 terms. That's when you should think grouping, 2 by 2. Pull out an x squared here. I get 2x minus 5. I have to pull out then a -1 here to get 2x minus 5. Because remember, the whole point of the 2 by 2 grouping is to get these factors to be the same. Now I can pull out the 2x minus 5. When I pull it out of the first, I just have x squared left. When I pull it out of the second, I just have a -1 left. Now, x squared minus 1 is a difference of 2 perfect squares. So I have to factor it to x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay, so on my number line, let's see, I'd have a -1, a 1, and a 5 halves, right? If I set each of those factors equal to 0, one of them will give me -1, one of them will give me +1, the other one will give me 5 halves. It's less than 0, so again, not equal to, so I'm going to make those open. And then I'm going to put my factors down and partition. So to the left of -1, I pick -2. -2 in the first, so it'd be 2 times -2 minus 5. So -4 minus 5, yeah, that's negative. -2 plus 1 is negative. -2 minus 1 is negative. 3 negatives multiplied together give me a negative, putting the answer above the number line. In between -1 and 1, I pick 0, minus, plus, minus, which is overall a plus. So if I multiply a negative, a positive, and a negative, I get a positive. In between 1 and 5 halves, 5 halves is 2.5. So in between there, I don't know, I'll pick 2. This would be negative. 2 and 2x plus 1 would be positive. 2 into x minus 1, plugging it in for x, would be positive. So overall, that's a negative. And then to the right of 5 halves, I'd pick 3, which 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is positive. 3 in there, be positive. 3 in here, positive. Overall, positive. Now, less than 0, I want to know where the product of these three things is less than 0. So that's where I have negatives above the number line. So my answer would be negative infinity to -1 soft bracket, 1 to 5 soft bracket. Or 1 to 5, sorry, halves. So I lost my 2 there. All soft brackets. All right, this is x to the 5th minus 10x cubed plus 9x greater than or equal to 0. I can factor out an x, right? You always want to pull out a GCF if there is one. Then I have a trinomial. I want what multiplies to positive 9 adds to negative 10. So I'd want 9 and 1 both minus. Now, those are difference of two perfect squares. So this is x plus 3, x minus 3. This is x plus 1, x minus 1. And then we're going to do our number line. Okay, so I want to think of what makes all of these equal to 0. Like if I set x equal to 0, it'd be x equals 0. If I set x plus 3 equal to 0, x minus 3 equal to 0, x plus 1 equal to 0, x minus 1 equal to 0, so on, I'd have -3, -1, 0, 1, and 3 on my number line. Equal to, so I'm going to color all of those in. These are the numbers that would make that product equal to 0. Then for my factors, I have x plus 3, I have x minus 3, I have x plus 1, and I have x minus 1. So to the left of -3, I pick -4. If I put a -4 in for x here, that's negative. -4 in for x in the second factor, negative, 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 negative. I have 5 negatives, which gives me a negative. Putting -2 in, so I got to pick something between -3 and -1. -2 in here is positive. -2 in the third factor is negative, negative, negative. 4 negatives make a positive times a positive, which is positive. In between -1 and 0, I'd pick like -0.5, negative, positive, negative, positive. -0.5 in the last one would be a negative. 3 negatives give me a negative. Then I would do +0.5. I'll get plus, plus, minus, plus, minus. That would overall be a plus. Between 1 and 3, I'll pick 2, positive, positive, minus, positive, positive. So overall, that's a minus. And then finally, to the right of 3, I'll pick 4, plus, 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 which is overall plus. Now, greater than or equal to 0. Greater than 0 means I want where the positives are. So, -3 to -1, hard brackets, 0 to 1, hard brackets, 3 to infinity. So now I'm just reading literally right off of that number line. And that's my answer. Okay, so example 4 is not going to be factorable. So I'll maybe just set it, oops. You know what, actually, never mind. We can do that tomorrow. That is going to be